Hello, everyone, and welcome to a multiplayer recap of a Vanheim multiplayer game that I recently just finished. So we are on turn 3, I believe, of this game, where I'm playing as Vanheim, and I am recording this video post finishing the game. I was doing videos up to a point where I was making them as the turns were coming in, but I'm curious to look back at the older videos and see how I was thinking of things back in the past. We're starting at turn 3. I'll go over all the usual stuff that you should go over on turn 1 or 2. Anyway, this is a Vanheim game, in case that's not obvious. So on turn 3, we got a message from Vanarus, all this stuff, and Agartha made his profit on turn 3, which I guess he recruited a unit. Anyway, I'll show you the map. This is just a starting battle with my profit, so I can show you my bless right off the bat. So nothing particularly exciting here, just a sort of standard nightmare hell bless that you can expect from elves. I've never actually played in a Vanheim game where I was not playing against my friends, or in a Blitz game. So this was a new experience for me, I guess. Because this game went long, spoilers, but this was a long game. It took about 5 months to finish this game out. I'm not telling you what the turn timer was, but it took a while to finish. Anyway, so we took a few casualties. There was this like 70 gold. Oh no, yeah, 85 gold. But there was a lot of heavy infantry here in this province. Anyway, looking at the map. So immediately, something that I would like to get out of the way first off is that I picked this map because I thought it looked pretty. I did not think about how balanced this map would be, especially if you spawned, like in the corner down here somewhere. That would make your life a lot harder because there's no wraparound scaling. If you're in the corner, you really only have one way to go, and that's closer to the middle. So without a doubt, where I am positioned as Vanheim is pretty nice. We're in the middle-ish, not directly in the middle of the action. We're not like on this chunk of land, but we have a lot of room to grow. So let's talk about Vanheim a little bit. This is not going to be a guide video. I've done other guides, overview videos before. This is not one of them. I may make one at some point in the future, but this is not it. So I'll just, sort of give a very brief overview. Definitely not go into all the details. This unit's fine. He has a javelin. He has an axe. That's cool. This guy's the same, but he's got a spear. That's cool. This guy, I'm going to be honest, this, to me, seems like a never make, because 12 gold, just, yeah, never, don't think I ever made him. This guy, he's got a sword, if you want to do slash damage. And then you got the skin shifter. This guy, I've tried, so along with the Einheers, which is this gentleman here, I attempted to expand with these units in single player before because I wanted to do a full scales build Vanheim. Something Vanheim kind of has trouble with is getting really good research as the game goes along. And we'll see more of that when I look over their mages, so I was trying to capitalize more on their human troops. And this guy's pretty good, he's a Berserker 5, in fact. That's amazing. So, he'll hit really hard, very reliably. He's always going to get hit in return, but, the damage he can output, 2 attacks, you can fit 3 of them per square, 6 attacks per square. I mean, that's pretty good, that's pretty strong. Not super expensive either. But ultimately, sort of a similar principle for the skin shifter in that he's very good if you can get him some protection because he's very squishy to begin with. But if you can kind of get around his faults, he's not as complete as an Einhir is, but he's sort of this, like, yeah, if you buff this unit, he's going to be really quite effective. But we've got a couple sacred units. I'm going to skip over them to talk about the last non-sacred unit. I never made a single one of these boars in this entire game, because as far as I can tell, this unit is a trap. If you build it, it's like falling into a pit trap. It seems good, because it's immortal, so you always get it back. So you can like throw this unit at the enemy army and have the boar trample anything smaller than size 3, which is not much, just like humans. And you know, he'll do at least 1 point of damage. But the problem is he's 100 gold, so he's going to be costing you 80 gold a year. And you know what? If you're ever like, man, I wish I could just save some money, well, you can't get rid of him because he's immortal. Anyway, I never made this. Never made this unit. I don't know why you'd ever make it. I guess if you're trolling. I think the Valkyrie's pretty cool. You know, seems like a good overall sacred. Maybe a little expensive, but it's flying, which is a very nice thing. Gives you some extra siege strength, some incredible map move of 24. Not crazy expensive, but also not super powerful. You know, pretty decent. You can fit 3 of them in a square. But then you got this thing. So you can fit 2 of these guys per square. They're only going to be outputting a mere 2 attacks. So you're going to have 6 attacks, or 4 attacks per square, I should say. Slightly better than human troops. They do have a javelin, if you want to throw that. But I mean, not much really to say about Vans. They're elves. Very, just, you know, good stats, expensive, stealthy, hard to hit. You can bless them really hard. And that's what I did. I went here and I was, you know, this is, how many people were in this game? I think 12? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 people were in this game. Some great names here, by the way. 14 people were playing this game, including myself. So I figured I'm not super confident I'm going to be able to win with just super hard scales. So I need to have some early game punch. And none of these troops are super inspiring. You know, these guys are cool. But these humans are really, you know... I like these Huskarls because they're cheap. But javelins are cool. But this thing's like a joke. And the Valkyrie seems like she's okay. But I don't know why you... I do know why, of course, why you'd make a Valkyrie instead of a Van. Because a Valkyrie can fly. Great strategic edge. But you don't have flying commanders normally. You've got a generic scout, which is bad. It's not really a good thing. You have a hearse. It's fine. Its leadership isn't good. It's okay. You have a Vanheim. Oh, by the way, I may be mispronouncing these names commonly. Please forgive me. Anyway, this is your primary lab monkey, as it were. This mage for researching is complete shit, and really, like, you pay so much gold for 7 research ability. It's so bad. It's like they're in, like, the random indie tribals are better than this. Now, of course, you don't just produce this mage for research. It's a killing machine. You know, this guy's a monster, and he can lead your Vans around in these, like, stealthy commando units, and he's got sailing. Now, you may have noticed from my capital here, we got a lot of water. You can see these are all the provinces I can hit from my capital. My strategic mobility is insanely good. I mentioned this when I made my video, like, whenever I started playing this game, that I thought my opening position was super duper strong because of this sailing that I can use. Since my capital's on the coastline, I can sail to any of these provinces. There are a few squares that have this little port, and you can see the dotted dashed line that connects from one port to the next. That means those provinces are connected to one another. Even if they may not necessarily be geographically connected, you can move from one to the next as a normal movement. So it's not like this section of the map is completely cut off from anywhere else. So there's actually a lot of these ports, and my thinking at this point in the game is I wanted to control them, so that way other people couldn't use, you know, basically just to limit the mobility of other players. What else am I doing? I guess I didn't get any mercenaries this turn. I took this province, I put 7 PD there. Yeah, research is even for this game. I guess we can look at the other people playing. So we have Pythium. And you can also, if you're curious, pause the video, look at these titles, because these titles indicate things about the pretender god in question. How many candles they have, how many growth scales do they have, what are their various magic paths. And you can find all this information just by Googling it, looking on the Dominions 5 wiki, or forums or something. People have coalesced the information in various places. Anyway, Pythium, I'm not super scared of them. You know, they got some cool stuff with the communicant, of course, but kind of whatever. Man is a human nation, and Ulm is one of my favorite nations, actually, in the game, if not my favorite. Yeah, Marignon's another human nation, and Micklin's also another human nation. Earth is kind of scary for me as Vanheim, because when they start spamming out their molten children, I believe is what they're called, I'm still sort of curious about what is the proper thing to do as Vanheim to deal with that. Anyway, Abyssias in this game, here are their titles. Of course, myself as Uhtred of Bebenberg, and this is Jotunheim. And then Vanarus, the Frogs, Phlegra, Ind. I think I remember looking at these titles and coming to the conclusion that Ind had 4 candles. I'm not sure if that is correct, but I remember looking at that and thinking it was strange. And then Nabah, of course, a classic choice. So anyway, those are all the nations in the game. Quite a lot of human nations. There are a couple giants in here, but by and large, definitely mostly humans. Humans, a couple elves, including myself. But definitely a humano-centric lobby. Here are the thrones of the game. So in order to win, you have to take 7 thrones. I feel like for a 14-player game, that may be slightly too many, maybe 1 too many. Anyway, that's just how it is. Looking around me, I have a throne adjacent to my capital. It is almost certainly the throne of fortune, given that it is producing luck 1, and I have naturally misfortune 1 in my scales. Anyway, not too much to think about here. With Vans in my starting army here, it's very easy to just bulldoze any amount of PD, and with a Bless that is this strong, it's got a lot of resistances, granted, but there's some pretty powerful stuff in there, like Blood Surge or Defense Skill, Reinvigoration, Magic Weapons, all very nice stuff. I guess to explain my thought processes, Magic Weapons just to deal with elementals, for one thing, or any ethereal units, for like late game conflicts. Shock resistance, because that's just sort of ubiquitously good in my mind. It also protects myself, my own units, from getting blasted by my own late game storm blast bombs. Poison resistance, because Foul Vapors is just a ubiquitous spell that is casted every single game of Dominions 5 I've ever played. Fire resistance for a similar reason. Fire's just super common. Defense skill, because defense skill works really well with elves. Reinvigoration just is really strong. Undying, because I didn't know what to do with my death. I mean, I took some undead command. I took Undying. Blood Surge is great. Dark Vision's good. I knew there were going to be some caves, like down here. Yeah, here. There's a cave over here. Is this a cave? Yeah, this one's a cave. That one's a cave. There's a cave down here. Yeah. And there's also this massive cavern network up here. Lots of caves over there. Very nice place for a Garth, we'll say. Anyway, looking around in my expansion, it doesn't seem like it's going to be super difficult, apart from this throne is kind of in an awkward spot to rush down into the middle continent over here, we'll call it. Because this throne is sort of in the way, and moving through here is a bit obnoxious, not because there's barbarians, but because it's a forest, so it'll block my movement a little bit. But anyway, I'm just sort of producing my capital. I'm mostly blockaded by resources currently. Not super unexpected, considering I've Sloth too, but I'm going to compensate for that by simply snatching the provinces immediately in my cap ring. Now, I think normally as a human nation, you don't want to do that, or, like, basically if you can send out your expansion parties to go hit other areas, that's more efficient, because then as soon as an army pops out of your capital, they can immediately go take an indie province for you. Which is fine, normally, but you have to recall my great strategic mobility. Maybe a little dangerous currently to employ such a strategy because I'm just blind firing going into random provinces, but I was sort of hoping on getting some scouting information before I walked into anywhere. So like I'm taking my scout over here and I'm walking into 226. I can go here anytime I want. This is not a scary province, just militia and slingers. This is also not a scary province. Is there anything to recruit here of note? Nope, not particularly. Yeah, I have this man researching in my capital because I did not think that 2 vans could do it. I did not believe that 2 of them could actually pull it off, so I'm recruiting a few more. And then just another van here. So my plan is basically just not very complex. Make van here's, make vans, make squads of vans, take provinces. And that's really all there is to say about it. I have yet to encounter anyone. At this point in the game, I had no idea where anyone was. So, I guess last thing is I'll look over the thrones. There's a throne here. There are a couple thrones up here in the frozen north. There is a throne down here under the ocean. I believe that is the only underwater throne. There's one way down here and one up here on this mountaintop. So actually, there are 5 thrones that crest around the map in this way. There is a throne right here, very close to the center. There's one here in the desert, one here in Transylvania, and yeah, one down here, way in the corner. And lastly, a throne in this forest. Quite a number of thrones. Some of them are very powerful, especially like these, like the Golden Throne, for example, gives you a pretty strong mage that you can recruit. There are a few good ones, knowledge for sure. Anyway, nobody notable in the Hall of Fame. Nothing to see in the square graphs. I think that's going to wrap up this episode, so thank you for watching.